feel like I'm at all sorts of weird angles today. I just filmed a get ready with me, so my desk is an absolute state, and I'm wearing contact lenses, so I keep looking in the viewfinder because I can see without my glasses on and it's freaking me the hell out. Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. I had to get into my really cozy jumper that I got in San Francisco Fisherman's Wharf. I love this jumper, it's so comfy, and I had the window open so it's kind of a little bit chilly in here now. So I'm gonna warm up. If I don't get warm then I'm gonna give in and put the heating on. Basically, I started this out and I forgot my notebook. So I have my notebook here. In my notebook it has basically all things that I want to talk about. So I think what this video is going to be is just a chatty video. I don't normally do chatty videos just because I talk a lot anyway and I'm pretty open when it comes to like, when I'm doing like an empties video or whatever, I'll just like go off on a tangent and just start talking about random stuff. But as you know, a lot of stuff had happened to me in the year 2018 and I do owe you guys an explanation. This isn't a breakup video. I just asked in my get ready with me, but if you didn't watch that then I'm asking you as well now. If you guys want a breakup story, why I ended my engagement type video, then I am thinking about doing one. I just didn't want to come across for three things basically. The first one, the most important one being, I didn't want to seem like I was bitter and that I haven't moved on, because I have. I'm in a happier place now in my relationship. I'm in a happy, committed relationship. I'm in a happy place physically. My flat is amazing. My town is amazing. My work is amazing. And emotionally, I'm in a better place as well. Like, my anxiety is much less than it used to be. My depression has gone. So I didn't want to come across as that I've not moved on from something that I have moved on from. I feel like now is the time that I can talk about it because I've moved on from it. So if you want that story, then I'm willing to give it to you. I did say before when I was going through it that I didn't want to talk about it, but that was just because I felt like I owed Andrew and his family the decency of not putting it on the internet, but then I don't owe them that anymore because they're all not nice people, shall we say. So I'm happy to come on and talk about it because I don't feel like, if they get mad, they get mad. Fuck it. Who cares? So what this video will be is where I've been. So what I'm going to do is, like, chronologically, I'm going to go through the months of 2018 because that much stuff happened to me. So in January, me and Andrew broke up. As you know, Erin came over. That was amazing. I loved having Erin here. Well, not here, but in my old flat. It was great. We went shopping, it was amazing. We got lost in London, it was great. And then while that was all going on, me and Andrew were like, I found out some stuff, which again, I'm not going to go over in this video. But I found out some stuff and I sought advice from Erin. And at that time, I wasn't thinking of like breaking up. I was thinking of like, what am I going to do about it? And it gradually got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And then at the end of January, we broke up. So that was awkward for a bit because he went to stay with his parents and his parents basically turned on me. They basically blamed me for the whole thing and I didn't do anything wrong. I literally just stood up for myself. So that, I had to deal with all the pressure from that. And then me and Andrew were living together for a while, for like 5 months or so. For those 5 months, it was awkward. Living with your ex is bound to be awkward, but I'd kind of like, I've known Andrew for 8 years at that point, so it was like, this is awkward, but I know this person knows me, we can still chat, there's no point in completely destroying a relationship from it. And by relationship I mean like a friendship. And I was still like playing darts. I don't think I ever talked about that on my channel, but basically me and Andrew, we used to play darts. Andrew still does play darts as far as I know. But I don't play anymore because I was playing with Andrew and his family, so it would be inappropriate for me to continue with that. But like, yeah, so I was playing darts and his parents were in Australia for the entire month of February, which was amazing because it meant that I could go to darts and not have to feel the pressure of them bullying me anymore. I basically really enjoyed the entire month of February. And then in March, when they got back, things became awkward again. So I finished off the darts season, I think either at the end of March or the beginning of April. And then I didn't see them again for a while. And it was at that point, I think it was around then that I messaged the letting agent of the flat, basically I sent them an email saying, what are the options here, because I'm currently living with my ex and I found out that he was looking to move out and was basically going to dump me with the rent. So I was like, what are my options here? I can't afford the rent on my own. What if he leaves? Like, they sent me a message back saying that they can't let us out of the agreement, but if they can find somebody to replace us, then we can leave. So I was like, okay, fine. So I thought, I'll talk to Andrew about this. So I sent Andrew a message. I was like, are you happy to proceed with this? If you are, I'll tell them to go ahead and start putting the listing up on the website so they can get other people in. And he was like, yeah, okay. So I sent them a message and I was like, yeah, do it. When can you come around and take photos? And that whole thing was organised. And then I got a text message from Andrew's brother, basically saying, how dare I put the flat up for rent, and that I was out of order and that I deserved to be dead. And yeah, basically a really, really nasty message over the fact that I'd put the flat up for rent. So I was like, hold on a minute, have you actually spoken to your brother? Because he's currently still lying to you. Like, you need to have words. And anyway, I came home and it really scared me. It really did scare me. And I was actually concerned that if I went home, what would I do if his brother was there? Like, what would I do? So I was really scared to go home because I was at the pub with my friends at this point. And I went home and he wasn't there. And I just like made a huge sigh of relief and basically felt like almost like heavily emotional. I didn't cry, but like heavily emotional that the relief was that good. Like, I didn't realise that I knew I had anxiety over going home, but I didn't realise it was that strong until like I felt so much relief that I felt really emotional over it. Because of the flood of emotions, I just went to Andrew, have you spoken to your brother today? And he was like, no. And I showed him the message that his brother sent me. And Andrew like reached out to his brother and was like, dude, that's not what happened, that's out of order, this is what happened, blah, 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 blah. And from what I imagined, that was the end of it. I may have at some point gotten the dates mixed up because he sent that message while they were in Australia, so I don't know. Like, if the months are all muddled, then I'm really sorry. It was a bit of a blur, to be honest. But anyway, the next day, we were at darts and he gets a text message from his brother basically saying, even if that's the case and you're the one in the wrong in this whole thing, she's still controlling, she still ruined your life and all this. And I'm like, how was I controlling? But whatever. And he called me bipolar, and honestly, I think that's an insult to people who actually have bipolar. Like, there are people out there who really struggle with it and really need help, and to just use that as an insult because you're upset with somebody is just a horrible thing to do. So that happened, and yeah, so for ages I avoided his brother. And we kept having people coming into the flat and viewing it, but nobody was taking it. And then they didn't reduce the price, they upped the price from what we were paying, which was already a lot of money. We were paying like £1,300 and they put it up for more than that. So it's a lot of money. And we weren't getting we were getting interest, but not much interest because there were all sorts of niggly bits, basically. Like, one person didn't like the decor and the landlord wasn't going to pay for it to be redecorated, that kind of thing. So for ages we were waiting, and then I found out basically that Andrew had gotten a job where we used to live. So he was at this point 100% leaving Brighton, and I was like, shit, what am I going to do? I can't like confront him about this, but I can't afford the rent either. So what am I going to do about this situation? But we sat down and we talked about it because Andrew actually approached me, and even though I kind of already had a feeling in the back of my mind, he confirmed like that he had a new job and that he was leaving. And I said, look, I can't afford the rent on my own. You need to pay. If you leave early, that's your choice, but you need to pay me. And he was happy to go ahead with that, so that was all sorted. And literally the next day we had another viewing. I remember texting my friend, who I was kind of half dating at the time, and I was like, people came round, but I've not got my hopes up, they don't seem that interested, that kind of thing. I just had a really weird feeling that they didn't like it. And then I got a call from the estate agent. The guy said, so the boys really liked the flat, there's only one issue. And I'm like, okay. And he was like, yeah, they want to move in 1st of June. at this point we were talking like 2 weeks away. We were in the middle of May, and I'd just had a week off of work helping my friend move house. All of a sudden I was moving house. My parents were in Japan, so I needed to somehow come up with the money to pay for movers to come and move my stuff. And my parents had already said that they did not want me back at the house. That's nothing down on my parents, it's just my mum's concern for me having to commute to Brighton every single day. But because of the short notice, that meant that I then had nowhere to live, which at that point was when I stopped filming YouTube. And I packed up my stuff and moved, and while I was helping my friend move, I kind of broke down. I had a bit of a thing, and my friend's mum was like, "What's wrong?" I told her that this person that I really liked that I was seeing, that didn't end well, and then I had to deal with the Andrew stuff, and now I'm homeless. And she was like, "What do you mean you're homeless?" And so I told her that I had nowhere to live, I had to move out of the flat so that the people could take over the flat, because it was either that or stay there till October when the lease ran out, which I wasn't prepared to do because it meant living with Andrew or having to find the rent until October. So I kind of had to take the option of let the boys move in at the beginning of June. And she was like, "No, you'll never be homeless, and you can stay in our old house." Because at the time they'd moved house, they'd bought a house that they'd moved into, which is why I helped them move, but the old house hadn't been sold yet. So they let me stay in the old house rent-free, which was amazing. I love my best friend so much. She doesn't watch my videos, but her son weirdly does. Yeah, I love my friend so much. She's just the best thing in the whole entire world. They let me move into that flat, into that house rent-free. When I moved in, they still had some stuff there because they'd not... Sorry, I'm having issues with my t-shirt. So when I moved in, there was still some of their stuff there from when they moved, which was fine, but it meant that I had to like maneuver things before I could start unpacking things. And I think I had like half a dozen boxes left. And then the sale went through on this place because my parents came back from Japan and we finished off the house search. I was already searching for houses for buying like since February, March time, all the way through to when I got the place. I went to Germany with work in the middle of June, and I got the call to say that the sale had gone through on this place. Well, they'd accepted my offer on this place, and the sale process was about to start. So that was great. I was getting a flat, it was amazing, and I was really, really happy. And I came back from Germany, and I had a little bit of a thing with... Basically what happened was I started seeing this guy, and the person who I was telling you about from before, who... the guy I was seeing before, and it didn't end well, he basically messaged me saying that he'd made a mistake, and he wanted to get back with me, and I was like, "What the hell, dude, I just started seeing somebody else." And he's like, "Yeah, I know." Anyway, I actually broke up with this guy, not for the other guy, but just because he was a douchebag. And I was like, "Okay, so do you want to try again?" kind of thing. And he was like, "Yeah, nah, I changed my mind about that." And I'm like, seriously? In the span of like 6 months? And to be honest, I'm not a type of person who will hang around and like dwell on somebody. I feel like while I'm with you, I love you with all my heart. And yeah, it will break my heart, but once I've had that 2 weeks of crying, that's it. You don't enter my mind anymore. That's how I am, and that literally only comes from having my heart broken so much. So yeah, so I might seem like I'm jumping from guy to guy to guy to guy to guy, but it's not like that for me. For me, it's like, that's in my past, that's done, drawn a line under it, let's move on. Then I had to deal with the situation of, I was once again on my own, which I don't mind, there's nothing wrong with being single, but it was another thing on top of everything else. Like, not all of it was negative, so I didn't have to stay in the flat in Brighton with Andrew until October. I got the sale of the flat of this place. So not all of it was like negative points, it was just a lot to take within like 6 months of like 3 breakups, having to move house twice, like having to deal with putting in an offer on your first property is stressful enough. And then I was in Germany for a week of June, and it was just everything all at once. And it just got to me. It really got to me. And I started getting worse and worse and worse and worse and more stressed. Okay, so my battery just died and I charged it for like 5 minutes because I want to finish this video. And David's going to be home soon, so that's a whole thing. So basically, I had a lot of stuff to deal with, and that caused me to spiral, and my anxiety got really, really bad, and my depression got really, really bad. So I went through a space of like 3 weeks where I knew that I was moving to Eastbourne and I was coming here on a weekly basis, hanging out with friends, but also struggling with severe depression at the same time. I, at one point, considered killing myself, and I'm not ashamed to admit that because people should talk about stuff like that. And the only reason that I didn't take any drugs or like try and crash my car or whatever is because I wanted to, if I was going to do it, then I would have to do it in such a way that it would 100% kill me, because I don't want to end up in hospital or crippled and then have to live the rest of my life. I wanted to just like have it ended, not have it ruined. And that's the only reason that I didn't. Like, if guns were legal in this country, or free and legal, like free to get in this country, not free as in like didn't cost anything, but like free as in easy to get, then I probably wouldn't be here, I'll be honest. So thanks gun control, I guess. That was a whole thing. And then I took a week off work. Basically my boss signed me off without me having to be signed off. It was great. I messaged him, I was like, hey, can we chat? I'm struggling at the moment. And he was like, how much time do you need off? And I was like, oh, okay, fine. So I took some time off work and I just concentrated on me. Basically what I did was stay in bed for an entire week. And weirdly enough, that actually made me better, because it's exhausting. If you've ever suffered with depression, it is exhausting having to face people every single day and pretend that you're okay. And because I was in bed for a week, I didn't have to do that. And it actually made me heal, because I could mourn but also rest at the same time. I'm really thankful that my boss helped me with that, because if I had to go to work, then I don't know what I would have done. It probably would have gotten worse. But yeah, so I got over that, and a couple of months later, no, like a couple of weeks later, David asked me out on our first date, and of course I said yes, because he's hot as fuck. We went on our first date, and it was amazing, and he's amazing. Unlike anyone that I've ever met, romantically. And it's nice, it's refreshing. We barely ever argue, which is miles from what I had with Andrew. And it's not that I'm comparing the two, because as far as I'm concerned, they're not even in the same league, so why would I even bother comparing them? Romantically, I was sort of on the up, and I was moving to Eastbourne, so that was on the up. And it just took forever. I remember thinking, like, I had to go to San Francisco in August, and I told them I'm going to San Francisco in August, and they were like, okay, well, we'll try and get it done before you go to San Francisco. And a few days before I went to San Francisco, they were like, yeah, we're not going to get it done. And I was like, okay, is there any way we can do the paperwork while I'm in San Francisco? I'm still going to have access to my emails. And they were like, yeah, okay, let's do that. So I sent them all my documents, made sure that I did all that before I went down to the solicitors. I handed the paperwork in person, and I was like, here you go, I fly on Sunday, go for it, have your life. I handed the paperwork to the solicitors, and then I went to San Francisco. When I was in San Francisco, I got an email basically saying that we were still waiting on their solicitors, who were still waiting on the management company from the property. So I was in San Francisco, and I was really frustrated, because I'm like, this was supposed to take like X amount of time, and now it's taking forever. And then I got back from San Francisco, and that week that I got back, things still weren't sorted. And then finally, the week after that, they were like, okay, we've got a completion date for you. So everything was completed, and I moved in at the beginning of September. Basically, it's been 4 months of just chilling out, relaxing, not having to deal with any of the stress that I've gone through for the first half of the year. And like, I repainted a couple of the bedrooms, and I redid the floor in here. Well, I say I did, my dad did. Like, my parents helped me so much, it was amazing. And then like, I painted in the bedroom, and David helped paint in the bedroom, and that was as far as we got. And then I went back to work after taking like a week off to move, and so since I've been back to work, I've not had time really to do any more painting and stuff. But that's basically my aim for this year, is to finish off painting the flat and get the flooring how I want the flooring, and then I can do a tour once everything is the way that I want it to be. So yeah, that's exciting. But yeah, I just needed the rest of the year to regain control of myself from everything that I had to deal with at the beginning of the year. So it's like, yeah, okay, I spent 9-10 months in like stressed, like in a state of mind the entire time. But now I'm in a better place, and I can, because I spent the rest of the year just like chilling, I can officially say that I'm definitely more relaxed. I have no stresses anymore. And yeah, my relationship is going really, really well. My job is still going really, really well. And the flat is great. I love it here. It's so quiet. It's so unbelievably quiet. Like, not just the property itself, like I don't hear any of my neighbours, but also like the area is really, really quiet, especially compared to Brighton. Like, I can go shopping on a Saturday and I can move. Like, if you ever try to go shopping on a Saturday in Brighton, once it hits like 11:30, 12 o'clock, lunchtime, that's it. There's too many people. You just can't move. And it's more stressful than it is enjoyable. And I like being able to go shopping on a Saturday without having to deal with any of that. I went to Primark the other day, actually. I would do a haul, and I would do what I got for Christmas, but the thing is, I'm way too organised now, and I just pack everything away, and then I go to sit down in front of the camera and I'm like, well, I'm not getting everything out again to film that video, so that one can go. But yeah, the shopping that I did at Primark didn't break my no-buy, by the way. I actually did that before the 1st of January. Since the 1st of January, I've actually not bought anything currently, apart from a couple of birthday presents for my dad and my brother and David's dad. So apart from that, I've not bought anything in January so far. We are only on the 6th day, 5th day, 4th day, whatever the date is today. But yes, it's going well. It's going well. I have on my list in my booklet, I know I said that I had a few things that I wanted to talk to you about in my booklet. Basically, let's go through this while I've got 5 minutes, and the camera's going to die again, but fuck it. So this video was the where have I been kind of video, and everything that I went through, so that can be ticked off now. I have the why I ended my engagement here as an idea, which you'll need to let me know about if you do want to see that. No-buy tips. So I am on my no-buy. I have been on a no-buy before. It was successful for the entire year of 2016. So let me know if you do want me... No, the entire year of 2017. Did I do it 2 years in a row? No, 2017 was the year that I did the whole year. So let me know if you want tips on how I do my no-buys. Updates. Do you want me to do updates? I'm thinking I might do updates. But in terms of like, I come on, I sit in front of the camera and I go, I didn't buy anything this month. Not really much of an update, so let me know about that. And also I have here, like, I don't know if you know this already, but I have polycystic ovary syndrome, or PCOS, and I have here to discuss that with you in terms of like my symptoms, what I've been through, how I was diagnosed, that kind of thing. If you're interested in that, then I can do that as well. So if any of those ideas jump out at you, let me know in the comments. Thank you for sitting here listening to me ramble. I hope that it explains and justifies like why I was away for so long. I do apologise for being away for so long, but I physically, especially at the time of depression, I was considering giving up YouTube altogether. I was like, I'm not going back. So for me, it's a big thing coming back. It might not seem like it to you guys, and it might be a massive inconvenience, but we all have our own things that we have to deal with. So, but I really do appreciate you guys listening to me and talking to me and being my friends. So it's really important to me, and it means the world. I'm gonna go now. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.